Hey guys, welcome back once again. So I hope everyone is doing good. So today's video we will be going to discuss about how to create a polygon sketches using NX Open Blocks trailer. Okay, okay, let's get started. So for this purpose, I have created already a class, like not a class. It just generated the automatic code using our journal. So I always used to uh, advise you that just use journal whenever it is necessary. But in the previous sketch tutorial I used to ufunc, but in this tutorial I have used journal to create my sketch and everything. And obviously I have edited a lot of automated code because we need to do it in order to make it useful for any project which requires this kind of features. So let me show you the blocks trailer which I created for this project, because I don't want to create it again and again because it's your job to create it, because you have to practice more than me. So I felt in that way. So I have a basic specific point option and the CSOS option and the radius, number of size and the length. So these are the five inputs I'm getting from the user. And we have also so that's why I didn't rename the blocks for time being, but don't do like this. You just rename the blocks every block you create. So suppose if you see it's a block ID is not changed, I just kept it as a default because I wanted to do it in a very fast way. So that's why I kept it as a default names. But in practical it is not advisable to keep the default name because it's not understandable. Okay. And yeah, so basically, yeah, we are going to create a polygon structures. So I just created this kind of dialog referring the same polygon creation sketch block. Okay, and you can see it's a point and it's a CSOS and radius. I just kept integer and actually you can create a proper way of inputs also here. Like you can make radius and the length as a string and the number of sides as an integer, because anyway it's going to work. You have to do little changes in the code, that's it. Okay, so these selections I will just go through very quickly. Like you can select a point from here, clicking here, and it will create it, and the specify CSOS it's here. And this one you go to basic numbers, integer, all three integers I have created like this. Okay, let's exit. I got the reference from this one. Okay, the polygon blocks trailer, the native NX blocks trailer. So I don't know, I didn't include the other things. I just kept it as simple as possible. Okay, yeah. Okay, now let's go back to our generated code, and I just modified based on my um, necessity, you can say. So it's just like I will go to the top and I will explain. Okay, these are the default code, and I just kept my DLX file in this location. It's a format, the file format, and I kept my main as a default generated code, and all these are default, default, dispose default, and these are default. But here is the interesting thing, like you can actually make some of your blocks to disable or enable while launching the dialog itself. Suppose I'm just going to show only this option. Like I'm just running my code by clicking Ctrl U shortcut. You see I have disabled this CSOS selection because user need to select the point first, then I'm allowing to select a CSOS. You can make a switch, like you can select first CSOS and again a point. I just based on your understanding and your needs. Okay, so I just kept it as enable as false. It's a boolean value, so you can just go to definition and check it's getter and setter. So you can basically set new value and get the existing value. So usually you can even um, Even you can, by default you can set it actually. So while creating your block itself, you have the option here like enable true. So if you can click here and you can just make it false. So by default it will be set to false. You just go to the every block and to understand all these inputs and everything. Okay, it's your job, like you need to go through it to understand. So in our case, it has been true in terms of UI, but I made it in the code. I am just disabling here. Okay, for the time being. So apply callback will create a sketch and create a polygon. So we will come back here again. So let's go to the first function, create sketch. I have a local variable for getting the sketch here. So it's defined in the top. So you can go to definition, check it's null under private, and also I have a Cartesian coordinate system, which I will explain after some time. Okay, okay. Just go back to the previous question. So go to the definition. Okay, now I'm not going to use this method. This is by default. I used a very fixed method here, so I am not going to use it. So I think this is not necessary, which I used previously. I just want to comment it. Okay, now everything is fine. So no errors. So I will just make sure to build and I will check if there is something. Okay. So the create sketch you don't have to worry because I just using the inputs only now, because earlier I was just trying with my own hard coded things, something like I create uh, a default by default I'm selecting some plane, but in this way we can actually ask the user to select a coordinate system or plane, then we can get the input from that. But the only thing is like I'm using only the x direction to create a plane. So like by default our sketch will be created on the x plane, like whatever the sketch you create after the like and the polygons will be created on the x plane. Okay, that's the thing. So by default I'm using the existing plane, and this is the order that sketch in place builder. It has two different types of method to create a sketch. I think this is the latest, so that's why it is two, and there is always a one. I think create sketch in place builder one will be there. It's okay, it doesn't make any sense. It will be there. I have noticed here somewhere. Okay, here I think so. It's okay, we use that second method and that's it. So we so here we are checking it whether it is not null, then we can get the direction. It's a Cartesian coordinate system, and we are creating a plane. Then that plane will be our reference plane for the sketch. Okay, and we are just creating a sketch. If you are not understanding, you can always watch my previous video which is explaining sketch. So otherwise this is another method using an XOpen. I think my previous video I have used ufunc, so creating for creating a new sketch. So you can use any method you like, and this is how we create a sketch. But you can see this Cartesian coordinate system I'm checking not null. Why? Because I'm getting from the user CSYS. So which is this option I'm going to select it from the user inputs. Okay, and update callback is very important. Once you select a point, I'm just checking whether there is any value to the UI, like in this block. Like I don't have any points, that's why my CSOS option is disabled. But if I select anything, then I will enable it, because I just specified a point in the 3D space. So that's what I'm doing here, and I'm set selected object vectors equal to nothing. Actually I just, but because there is an error, by default it is selecting some plane. So I don't want to make a default selection here, because I want make it as a just null selection. That means I'm just keeping my objects count should be 0. it should not select automatically. I will be providing the input, means in a coordinate system I will select, and they can take that. So that's why I'm doing it here. So here I'm just making it null to avoid the default error, and here I'm making a selection. So whenever I make a selection, I'm just trying to get the objects from this, and I'm just checking the type is Cartesian coordinate system. This one you can easily find it, because if you just comment this and if you run the program, it will be like once you select some plane, it will be returning you Cartesian coordinate system. You can check it yourself by debugging. If you don't know how to debug the how to attach to NX with Visual Studio, you know that there is a debug option that you can attach it by creating a breakpoint here, so it will run and you can debug and check. Okay, which I think I already explained in so many videos, so I'm just skipping this step. So here I'm just ensuring that it's a Cartesian coordinate system, and because this is asking a tag, I'm just getting the first object and its tag. So basically it will be only one object, but since it is asking, we are getting as an array, so I'm just make sure it's only one object, but it might be a number of objects actually, but I'm just for the tutorial purpose, I'm just keeping it as a one object. So, and I'm just checking the condition if this is the type, and I'm just getting the Cartesian coordinate system, which is very important. And if we go to the definition, I have declared it here, I already told you I think. So next one will be, we will come back to the polygon creation. So because we created a sketch which I explained a little bit now, and just earlier now, and now on the other side, once it creates a sketch, we are going to create a polygon. So even in here we will have a condition, because it's a very important. If the sketch is not equal to null, we can go ahead and create a polygon. Okay, this should be the proper way. So the polygon will be created on a sketch which is created on our selection, based on our selection. So the thing is like I'm using the journal again here, and I just removed the unnecessary code, and I just kept it simple as it is. Like there is a builder for creating a polygon sketch. I am using this, so I'm passing the null because we are going to create one. We are not going to use the existing one. So whenever you create anything using the builder, you have to pass the null values. So this is why I'm doing it like this. So sketch polygon builder will be created, will be null initially. And if you don't understand what is the right hand side, these things are, so they try to see this is left hand side and this is right hand side. So that's why in documentation it's not very clear, I think so. So radius dimension right hand side and the integer value. As I told you, this is from my block value only, but as time being, I just kept it as a default integer dot value dot string. So usually it accepts a string. That's why I just converted my integer to string. But you can make it as a string only from the block style array inputs. Okay. And rotation dimension, size point. I don't know a specific reason why this polygon builder using the size point and not the center point. It also have that center point option, but I really have a confusion even myself. But you just, we need an input, even if you guys know why it is being used using the size point instead of center point, please comment in my video. I don't know that, so I'm just going with the size point. And number of sides I'm passing from the UI. So inscribed radius, for time being I'm just making it as always inscribed radius, the inner radius kind of. So these are always false because I don't want to create a dimension of it, and I'm just committing X and destroying it. So this one sketch I'm deactivating for the completion purpose, because in a create sketch in the last line I should I have activated the sketch, so I'm just going to deactivate it. Okay guys, it's time to run our program and see the results. Let's control B, running. Okay, exit. No, take control U. Okay, I'm just going to specify a point here. These are some default value taken from my previous input, I think. And here I have not selected, I think it's from the past values it's getting selected. So I'm just going to click OK. So my polygon is created. So we try another way. So you can see it's always going to be created on explain, because we are passing only the explain objects. So I'm just going to change the radius, like higher values. A number of sides will be higher values, 7, or we can say 10, length 200. Let's see how it is creating. See, it's created. Okay, we will give different values. We specify point here, and the radius will be 200, and the sides will be 8 now, and maybe 400. So it's creating everything. Okay guys, thank you. Please try yourself and try to get more uh, just try to execute with the different inputs, and you can actually get comfortable with it. Okay, see you in next video. Bye bye. Thank you.